So yeah, what we want to talk to you about today is, I guess, one of the inefficiencies that we're seeing in the industry at the moment, and I think a lot of your IT type of roles in geospatial will talk about the size of your data and the inefficiencies there. What I come across a lot is the inefficiencies that often happen around moving that data and managing that data, and how do we collaborate with that information when there are multiple silos in projects and geospatial consulting firms. And how can we improve those inefficiencies? How can we make these silos break down? How can we share information with each other? You know, data going from a instrument in the field up to the cloud, down to a C drive, up to a different cloud solution. A lot of those are taking creating quite a lot of inefficiencies, and that's what we want to talk about today. We'll talk a little bit of history about 12D Synergy and why I'm passionate about that topic, and then we'll talk about some of the solutions that we are finding with partners in the industry, and I'll hand over to Alex, and he'll be able to talk you through GeoCloud and what we do with GeoCloud and what GeoCloud does with the Hexagon fleet with Leica Geosystems. My name's Mitch McPherson. I'm the Global Sales Manager or VP of Growth at 12D Synergy. If you want to connect with me, you can there. Over the last around 9 years, I've been helping surveying firms, geospatial consultants, and design engineering consultants, mainly around Australasia, help manage their data in a more efficient way. For 12D Synergy, it all started in Christchurch back in 2011. There was a huge earthquake there, and every piece of infrastructure, subsurface, roads, rail, all needed to be replaced essentially, and they formed this a joint venture is an understatement, a massive alliance of almost all hands on deck across New Zealand and a lot of Australia to rebuild all of this infrastructure. And what we found is, in this experience, was surveying and geospatial information is really hard to manage. It's not easy. It has complexities. And our founders, Joel Gregory, our CEO, and Richard Stolley, our CTO, were invited into that conversation to talk about a solution that could manage this really technical information, because we all know of tools like ProjectWise, Construction Cloud, Procore. We all know about these AConnexes in the world. A lot of them focus on managing a drawing, managing the references, but what they don't talk about is databases of information, which is what geospatial information a lot of the time is. If we look at what sort of information or tools that you might use on a project, a delivery of that scale is a range of tools around kind of the design area, Civil 3D, Open Roads, 12D model, and then the conversion of that to deliverables and drawings through CAD processes, AutoCAD, BricsCAD, MicroStation. And a lot of those tools I just talk about manage those really well, but the delivery of this project also involved a whole range of surveying and water tools that operate on those databases that we needed to resolve as well. And so that's what the tool that was set out to go and solve. Hey, can you go and make a product that we can deliver this project and collaborate on with? And that's why 12D Synergy was born. That's our genesis story, I guess. And what we've found is that once that alliance broke up, we had a tool that these small geospatial businesses would be able to take home with them and say, look, we might only have 20 staff versus the project delivery team had about 450, I think, on the project in that surveying space. But they wanted to bring this home because they saw it as a really good geospatial business management tool. And that's because it focuses on, one, agnostic information. It's not just about can you manage the survey data. It's also what survey data. Is it Leica? Is it Leica Infinity? Is it Trimble Business Center? What about the field software? What about 12D Model, 12D Field, which is a really popular product that's used in Australia? And so what we came out with a product that has these 4 core pillars. Correspondence management. How do we deliver what we've actually finished with? And I'd say that the correspondence management and the information management and the model and drawing production management, you're all familiar with tools that can do that. And what we brought into that was a geospatial data management platform. How does that tie into the rest of the delivery of the project? We'll get to that in a moment. I'll focus quickly on that geospatial data management. So those data sets are a folder of files. They're not an individual file. They're complex. They reference each other. They have multiple objects in them. You might be extracting line work, doing feature extraction. You might be doing adjustments from the capture in the field before it's processed and brought into some drawing production platforms. How do we manage that? How can we manage that in a system where information is structured so hard to manage? So that's what we've done, is we've looked at these databases and say, how can we treat them essentially as a single item and still deliver this system in a way that is efficient? So what we do is we actually allow you to check out the entire database, and 12D Synergy is smart enough to look into Leica Infinity or Trimble Business Centre or Carlson or those likes and say, this is what's actually changed, deliver that, work on it locally, give you the full power of your local machine to process that information, because a lot of these tools, it's big data, and big data in a limited environment causes the software to crash. What we're allowing you to do is the full power of the local machine, therefore the full power of that software, the authoring software as well. So Leica Infinity operates at its full capacity. Identify the change and only transfer the changes back, limiting the data that you push down the pipe. So we've got a platform here that allows you to efficiently manage and limit the information that you're moving around. And that's what this is really all about, is finding industry solutions that improve efficiencies and allow us to deliver information, or the project, I should say, in a more efficient way. And this is a slide I like to refer to. We did this at Hexagon Live recently. And it just goes through the different industries and the efficiency gains that they've seen since the turn of the millennium, essentially, from 2002. And this is Australian data, but I think it rings true around the world, is that the scope of what we're expected to deliver on a construction job is making us more inefficient. It is making the asset owner more efficient because they've got the information that they need to maintain that asset for longer. But that comes with some compliance things that we need to deliver. There's also some low technology adoption that hurts the efficiency growth. We like to stick to what we know, and therefore that lag continues on. So you can see, I'm from a very rural town. I was very proud to see agriculture up there at 91% efficiency growth, but the industry I work in at minus 8.4%, which is very much a concern with the amount of technology we've adopted recently, which brings into those fragmented ecosystems, which is one of the big issues that we see is happening in the efficiency as well, that we can control. The client requirements are hard to control. We can look at efficient ways to deliver that. How do we manage attributes more efficiently in the model? How do we manage the suitability codes and approval processes in the CDE? We can look at those sorts of things, but the fragmented ecosystem is something that we can really look at, and that's why we've come to the industry with CDE Connect. So we've taken our CDE and said, okay, we're a CDE, it's great to provide an information management platform, but for best practice in industry, I might not have the solution that you need for the whole project. What can we do to help you deliver a more efficient project? So we look at our competitors and we look at us and we say, well, those guys have a tool that's very efficient at managing this sort of information. We have a tool that's very efficient at managing that information. And if you go back before to all the authoring tools that are on a project, in a project delivery team, you'll see that I often say the authoring tools native platform is often the most efficient place to manage that data. So what CDE Connect is really about is saying there's a whole heap of CDE for information exchange that we can work with. There's ArcGIS, QGIS, FME, these GIS tools that we're working with, And there's some other tools that manage the project commercially that we tie into for the sake of making our CDE work more efficiently. But what I'm really talking about here is, the pointer doesn't really show up on that screen, is the CDE information exchange. You've got multiple CDEs on your project. How can we use cloud platforms and let the cloud platforms do the heavy lifting of exchanging information and breaking down silos? And that's what CDE Connect's really about. Great example of this is the ACC one that we see a lot. ACC, Revit is best managed in ACC. It allows for its work sharing and collaboration to work within the platform, but ACC doesn't provide a lot of benefit around Leica Infinity, Trimble Business Center, BricsCAD, Civil 3D, 12D model. We provide a platform that does that really well. So what some customers of ours have done is said, I want to use both on the in the industry, but how do I connect them? So CDE Connect's about saying, you might have these silos and we're going to help break them down. We're going to exchange files between those platforms at approval gates and carry the metadata with them, which is really important. If you're working on an ISO 19650 compliant project, you need to carry that suitability code. You also want to carry metadata. Who changed that file? Who approved that file? What version of that file is there? So although you're running multiple CDEs on the project, you're running one ecosystem. And that's what that's really all about. Now, we did this because it was a great way to break down the silos between CDEs. But naturally, most of the customers I work with are surveyors. How do we break down those barriers for field to office and office to field? So you could go through and you could write an integration for every field authoring software there is, and you could spend forever supporting that and doing that, or you could go to some of these key providers of these types of tools, like Hexagon, and say, hey, Hexagon, I know you have a platform that talks to your instruments in the field. Could we tap into that, use that as a conduit to get office to field, field to office collaboration happening, and use CDE Connect as a platform to allow the guys in the office using 12D Synergy as an ISO 19650 hub to then get data out to the field to someone maybe using a CS20, they might be using a TS20 that's just been announced as well out in the field, and getting that data to and from 12D Synergy in a controlled, mannered way and an efficient way, with the office processing still being managed in 12D Synergy. So using that as an example, that's what we did with Leica GeoCloud. We connected them together and allowed that information to exchange. So what is Hexagon GeoCloud? Sorry, I called it Leica GeoCloud. Hexagon GeoCloud. Well, I'll hand over to my friend Alex from Hexagon. He's the head of cloud services there, and he can discuss what they've been doing there and how we can improve data from the CDE in the project out to a cloud service with connection in the field.
All right, many thanks, sir. You have this one?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, welcome everybody also from my side, and Mitch, many thanks again for doing this co-presentation, for dedicating a couple of minutes also for myself. So let's see if this works. I really forgot wearing those headphones, so I don't know what you were talking about, all the connection now. Yeah, I want to talk now a little bit about GeoCloud Drive from Hexagon Geosystems. That's me, so I'm in charge of cloud services now. So we started 2 years ago to come up with the first cloud service of Hexagon GeoCloud Drive, and that's the one I want to showcase now in the next couple of minutes. Of course, we have seen all the years now in our experience for surveyors that we needed our own ecosystem, right? How do we bring data from the field to the office through a cloud service? So far, people used FTPs, used emails, used USB drives, and you can imagine there are more and more security constraints coming up, and therefore we decided we come up with our own service. The name is GeoCloud Drive. It's a secure cloud storage and data exchange service for surveying and construction professionals. It really ensures that your data is always up to date. So there is no need anymore when you're outside, when you stake out, when you measure new data. There is no need anymore to do a physical delivery into the office anymore. Everything runs through a cloud service, right? And it's no longer an FTP or something where you just send data from A to B. like an email. It's really a cloud service where you can collaborate. Yeah, I tell you in my last slide, then the reason why we are here together, why we have this partnership, right? It's super important to have the collaboration with 12G Synergy. It really works together now. That's the reason I want to show you now in the next couple of slides, GeoCloud Drive. And in the end, I show you also a little bit the reason why we're doing this. This little slide here gives you an overview. What we are doing, it's quite simple to explain. We have on the left side the field software portfolio. Yeah, the laser pointer doesn't work too much. GeoCloud Drive is something that is completely integrated in our field software on the left side. So this can be done with Captivate, with Icon, but also XPad from GeoMax is now fully integrated now. And you see we can address now a couple of hardware devices in our whole GeoSystems portfolio. In the middle we have GeoCloud Drive hosted on AWS. Basically here we have the data sync. And on the right side we have the Office portfolio. So what you see is here a screenshot of Leica Infinity. Of course, Infinity has integrated GeoCloud Drive, but we don't stop here. We have a little tool. It's free of charge. You have to download it. It's called the desktop application, and it will be installed on your Windows 10, 11 system. And this gives you GeoCloud Drive basically in all Office software you run on your PC, right? There is nothing to do, no integration needed, no SDK. So all the data you have in GeoCloud Drive will be then available in your Office software of choice. Yeah. A little video here how this works. Very simple. That's the Captivate on a controller. We have here a little job, some line work, some points you have measured. Now we want to send it over to the cloud. You flip the project, you just say upload to GeoCloud Drive, you select a folder in the cloud, you hit the button, and it's already uploaded, right? So it's super simple, integrated. There is no need for any extra tools. I think the integration here is absolutely important. I show you also in a very small video now how this looks like in Infinity, how the integration looks like. Back in the Office, right, you want to have this data we have just uploaded back in Infinity. So here we hit import, we select the GeoCloud Drive. Here you see the job we just uploaded. We say import. It takes a few moments depending on the size of the project, and it will be in Infinity, and that's all the way, right? It's simple. It's, yeah, I think we really address here a couple of values. We solve a couple of problems of the customer side, and we of course continue to enrich this service. A few arguments. What is helpful in this service here for our customers? Of course, we have an enhanced workflow efficiency. It's a real-time data transfer, yeah, more or less in real time. You hit the button, it's downloaded, it will be in the project on the fly, and it really eliminates now this manual data delivery. Think about security. So we have a lot of customers now, and USB drives are really banned now. It's no longer allowed. They have to remove it. They need a cloud service now. So it's much more secure. It's on AWS hosted on a server for Europe in Ireland. When you're a customer in the US, we have also servers in the US. We have advanced encryption, and we have a lot of regular penetration tests in terms of security. That's super important for us, from customers even who do penetration tests here, to have specific security. It's real collaboration. As said, you can share data among your colleagues. You can share data also with externals. That's not a problem. Think also about the costs. We try to make it really affordable. The user model is per user. You can enhance users if your company is growing. You can reduce users. That's all no problem. We are really flexible on those kind of things. Super important, as said, is full integration. So within Leica GeoSystems, GeoCloud Drive is basically now in every field software available. If you have third-party software, also no problem. We have SDKs to really integrate it into third-party software as well. I talked already about Windows software with this little applet you can download and get then data on the fly into your Windows software. And as said, it's user-centric, user-based, so you pay per user and storage. My last slide already, and this brings me back why we are here together. So a little video here. That's the portfolio of Leica GeoSystems. It's pretty wide, right? We have total stations here, we have controllers, we have Captivate, we have Icon, we have levels, we have distos, and so on. And you can imagine we are producing a lot of data. And this must all play together, right? And therefore we generated GeoCloud Drive. But we don't stop here. And we need partners. We need strong partners like 12D Synergy providing additional functionality here. Also, 12D Synergy is a local champion in various areas, right? That's also something we should not forget. So for us, it's absolutely needed to have strong players. And therefore, we work together on a cloud-to-cloud synchronization, right? So GeoCloud Drive and 12D Synergy is now seamlessly really playing together in syncing here. If there is any information needed, I know we have only a couple of minutes now, then feel free also to address us. We give you also a step-by-step guide how this works. And Mitch can also, of course, tell more details about those kind of things. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to do additional things. Maybe one, sorry, this is really my last slide now. There is more to come, so feel free, come to our Hexagon booth. It's one level up. And we have a second service now introduced. It's called GeoCloud Fleet. This is no longer about data, it's all about your sensors. Yeah, a fleet management. And theft deterrent storage. So pretty interesting with the brand new total stations, the TS20. So if you're interested, feel free to come up. And yeah,